Okay, so fine. It was a little delayed because of the placement session. By the way, how was the placement session? Anybody can give a quick feedback? Pradeep says it was good. Okay, so hopefully it was productive enough for you, and you must have noted down few important things because this is the very right time to start for your placements. Okay, so let me quickly share the screen. Okay, I think the screen is visible now. So let's have a quick recap of what we did in the previous class. We started off with the manipulating strings. We saw various approaches that we can handle different exceptions in the strings. Working with the strings, we started off with string literals. What are literals, right? How can we address a situation wherein we have single quote in between the statement as a part of the statement, right? Because in Python, to make to mention a statement or a string, we quote it into a single quote, right? Every string is quoted into a single quote. But what if we have a single quote as a part of the string? Then how to handle it, right? Then we had a look upon what are double quotes. How can this ambiguity of single quote can be uh, cleared with the use of double quotes. Then we saw what are escape characters, different types of escape characters. We saw what are raw strings. How can we make use of raw strings? Where all places we make use of raw strings, right? Then we went ahead to discuss what are the multiple line strings, right? How can we define multiple line strings? Single line string can be either encoded into a single quote or double quote. But when we have multiple line strings, we have to make use of triple single quotes, right? Triple single quotes to start a string and triple single quote again to end the string if we have multiple line strings. Similarly, we saw multiple line comments, right? How can we comment multiple lines in a code, right? So a paragraph, if you want to comment, we can make use of the double quotes three times. So three double quotes will indicate the start of the comment, and again followed by three double quotes will indicate the end of the comment. Right. So these are the multiple line comment. We also saw what is indexing and slicing in the string. Having a particular string, how can we index? How can we provide an index? How can we retrieve a particular character from a particular index? And then how can we perform slicing, which was basic enough what we have seen in the previous sections also. Then we went ahead to discover what are in and not in operators. So as the name suggests, is it just check whether that particular string is in the main string or not in the main string. Then we saw various different useful string methods, which are very important. We saw examples of what are upper method, what is a lower method, what is upper and what is lower. The difference between these two strings, upper and is upper, and also lower and is lower methods. Then we also discussed a few programs with respect to that, wherein we can make use of multiple methods in a single instruction. For example, upper and lower, or upper, lower, and again then upper. So the conclusion that we had was the whatever the latest method or the method which has been used last will be producing the output. The appropriate output with respect to the method which was used last will be the output, right? So we also discussed one of the important string method, that is x, wherein x denotes the various methods which can be replaced instead of x, right? So is alpha checks whether the string is a alphabet or no, unless it is a blank, right? Then we also saw is alum. Alum is the string, a combination of alphabets and numericals or no. And then we check is decimal, whether the string contains numbers or decimals or no. Of course, except the blank, right? Then is space, a normal space or a tab space or a new line is also a space, right? So is space method checks whether our string has any kind of special spaces, right? A single space or a tab space or a new line, next line character, or such things, right? And not blank. Exception here is the blank. It will not detect the blank. Then also we discussed a method called isTitle, right? Which checks whether the string that we are inputting is in the form of a title. Because what is a title? How does a title look like? Title should have a first letter as a uppercase letter, followed by the other words, in which again the first letter is usually the uppercase letter. So this method will usually check the input is a title or no. That string which we are giving as the input is title or no. So if all the first letters in the words in that string are uppercase, it will return as it is a title, right? And it of course it ignores the decimal. It only checks for the alphabets and not the numeric. We saw different example here that since here in this case we had all we had all the first letters of all the words as capital, but since there is one word in which all the letters are capital, it is not in the format of a title. So hence this string doesn't uh, it cannot be called as a title. So hence it returns false. So I think that's where we stopped in the previous class. And in today's section, we'll be discussing further about other methods, other very important methods with respect to the string itself. Right? As I mentioned, a string, when compared to a list or a dictionary, or even for that matter, tuple, a string can be represented in many different forms, right? There are many different ways which we can make use of in the program with respect to strings, right? So every string, every thing is a string. If you can see, even if there's a single letter, single character, it's a string. If there is a word, that also means it's a string. And when we have sequence of words forming a statement, that also means that it's a string. So we have so many different type of variety of strings, you can say, and therefore we have many different methods to handle those types of strings, right? So that is the reason we have so many types of methods to be learned here. So starting off here, we have two very another important methods with respect to string is starts with and ends with, right? So as the name suggests, it checks whether that particular string starts with something or no. That something is whatever you give as the input, right? And also exactly opposite to it, ends with check whether that string ends with that particular set of characters or word or no. Simple example. Can anybody give me an example of this? Where can we have such methods? For example, starts with or ends with. Can anybody give me an example? Simple example. Yeah, anybody? No volunteers? So I think I have to pick up. Sri Hari Vaidya. Yeah, Shri Hari, please unmute and let me know the answer. Give me an example wherein we can make use of this starts with and ends with method. Shri Hari, you're not there, you'll be marked as absent. Okay, Shri Hari is physically and mentally absent, I guess. Right. So next, let Vinay,
Yes, sir.
yeah. Can you give me a simple example, Vinay, that where we can make use of starts with and ends with string methods?
Uh, for maybe email IDs like ends with some gmail.com or something like that.
Very good, very good, very good. Good example. It can be email ID. For example, let's say Google. Google has the task to, let's say, put some kind of a email to only the Gmail users, right? So what Google will do, it will just track the email IDs which ends with Google at the rate gmail.com, right? Maybe that, whatever that email ID at the rate gmail.com, and then it will send mail to only the Gmail ID owners, right, and not any else, right? So that can be one example. Anybody else? Fair enough. Good example. Arjun says to search a particular string. Yeah, example. Simple example. Can anybody relate to yourself? In the meantime, others, please open the Python ideally. Yeah, anybody else want to give a try to a different example? Arjun, can you give an example? You are right to search a particular string. Can do you relate to something and give me an example? So let's say I have typed this that hello world. This is my main string, right? Into a single quote. You can also use a double quote here. But let's say I have typed this string hello world, and I'm making use of the method called starts with. Now, in order to make use of this method, as I mentioned in earlier classes, you have to make use of the dot, which is actually used to invoke that method, right? And then followed by the name of the method, that is which is here starts with, and I say hello. So it is quite evident here that it is going to return me true, right? Because the string is indeed starting with the term hello. So it returns true. Now let's say I make use of the same instruction, but I just change this method which is ends with. So definitely it is going to return me false, right? Because it doesn't end with that. And when I make the changes here that ends with, let's say, word, yeah, yeah. Can anybody give me example whether this will be a true or a false? Can anybody give me an answer for this? Ends with double S, right? Yeah. So now I have a statement which is a string hello world, wherein I'm calling the ends with method followed by the this string that I want to search whether this is ending with this or not. Can anybody give me an answer for this, whether it will be true or false?
It will be true.
It will be true. Okay. May I know who just spoke? I mean, may I
Yes,
know? Sanket.
it's me, Sanket Patel.
Okay, Sanket. Sanket says true. Anybody else? So I hope you got the flow here, what I'm trying to do, right? I'm just putting comparing a string, main string, my main string, with a short string and checking whether it does starts with this particular word or not. Yeah, anybody else? I can see few people are very fond of typing in the chat box. Right. Vasudha says true. Vibha says true. Really? Okay. So I don't think so that it will return true according to me. As I hope that it will return true, but I think it shouldn't return true because, as you can see here, the string that we are using here, it starts with the capital letter word W, and the string that we had here in our main string, it is a small letter W. So to be verifying, it should be false, but let's just go ahead and execute. And yes, as I guessed it, it is wrong because as the word is same, but string strictly checks for the case letters, right? When we define a particular string into a single quote or even for that matter double quote, it exactly compares the uppercase or a lowercase letter. So it is basically case sensitive. So when we compare this, though the word world is there in the mainstream and also it is the exact term that we are searching for, but since it is case sensitive, it is not. So let's just go ahead and copy paste the same thing and make that minor change back to the origin, which should return us true, right? So, and for that matter, if you just remove this word at all completely and just compare the main string, whether that particular string ends with the exclamation or no, it should return true, right? So it returns true. So I hope you got the flow here, right? Now here are a few more other examples like hello. This is which we have already covered. Let's say we have a string called ABC dot starts with ABCDEF. Though the first three letters of the original string as well as the string which we are comparing are same, it is not exactly the same, right? As I mentioned just now, whatever we mention in that single quote, it exactly compares the way it is with the shorter string that we are trying to compare here, right? So if it is exact same only, then it will return true, otherwise it will return false. So here are other few more examples. Now another example, another area of application where such methods can come handy is like your university VTO can make use of this method in a particular program to identify which all students belong to Jain College of Engineering, right? So what they have to do, they have to just compare the initials of your USN to JI, right? They have to just compare whether to JI. So whatever, let's say the VTU has a whole set of database where it has the USN of all the students of all the different from all the different colleges which are affiliated to VTU, right? And they have to give, let's say some kind of a message to only the Jain College of Students, right? Students from only the Jain College of Engineering, Palgam. So what they'll do is they'll just filter out your USN from the initials to JI. They will just check whether the USN starts with 2JI followed by whatever, right? And let's suppose VTO has a special message only for the CS department students, then it will select the USN as 2JICS followed by star 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 or whatever, right? So that way they can filter out the USN. So there can be many such examples for this. And similar to what we have learned in the lists, we do have again join as well as split methods. So as the name suggests, a join method is used to join two different strings and split method is used to split a single string into multiple strings. Let's understand better with taking the same example that we took in the lists, right? So let's say we have this list here, this very list from starting from here to this here. This is our list, and I want to join this string, join these different list items into one string. Now, as you can see, these are two different strings, right? Cat is one string into a single quote. Rats is one string into single quote. Bats is again one string into single quote. And these three strings are into one list. Now what I want to do is I want to frame this all three substrings into one string. I want to join these three strings into one string, right? So what I'm going to do is I have to first of all mention that separating character, or you can say the delimiter, which is in fact separating these different strings, right? And then call a method, join method, to join these strings. So as you can see here, we do have a comma separated for each string here, right? A comma followed by a space, a blank space, if you can see here, this one. This is just a comma, right? And this is comma with a space. So what I want to do is I want to check whether which all places do we have this comma and space. So I have to remove that comma and space and substitute it by only a, comma space within that string, right? So I hope you got it. Uh, so once I identify this comma and string, it will I will call the join method, which will in fact indicate or highlight this gap of comma and space and remove it to uh, join, right? It will remove that comma, which is a separator, and in fact, it will replace it with another comma, which is a part of the string, and then completing the string, right? So it can be underscore or whatever. You can take any other example. This is just one example here. So at the end of it, what I'll get one string, which is a joined string. So let me show you here in the Python IDE. Let's say I have this string, this string, and I'm checking for the main string, that is this, comma followed by a space. Now once I execute it, it is going to join these three strings into just one string, replacing all this comma with another comma which is a part of the string. Now let me execute and show you. Yes. So now you can see here, now this from C right away till this S is one string. Since you can see here, it is into a single quote starting from here, ending here, right? So the separator here is actually been replaced by a character comma, which in fact is a part of our new string, joint string. Right? Exactly opposite is what we have the split, right? So let's say I have this statement that my name is Simon and split function. So as you can see, there is nothing inside that split. So what is it is going to do is it is going to, let's say, let's go ahead and execute it. And before that, as you can see that every word here in this statement, like this whole string, we have a separator which is a blank or a null character or a space, right? Just a space. So the split, what it does, it will pinpoint exactly those spaces and it will split the statement there, right? So let me execute and show you. So as you can see, it started splitting after first space, separated it by a comma, then a new next word name separated by a comma again, then third string is separated by a comma, and again in the end fourth string, that is Simon, right? And then closing the list. So let's say if I want to split uh, this particular sentence using some other character, let's say a single quote or double quote. Okay, let's not make use of single quote, double quote. Maybe a underscore. So I have to mention that special character here inside the parenthesis. So that will be acting as the delimiter. Like how did we have it here? Right? So that is a simple example of how do we join as well as split a statement, right? So here is another example. For example, let's see, let me show you here. I have a very random statement. It's not based actually random, but instead of all these spaces here, I am replacing these spaces with a characters ABC, right? So my name is Simon is replaced with my ABC name ABC is ABC Simon, right? So this ABC, as you can see here, in capitals, this we can make use of as a delimiter inside the split or method, and wherever we have ABC, it will be replaced with a simple comma. Comma denotes that it is the string has been disjoined or splitted there. So when I hit enter, as you can see, I get the same output as the previous one. every statement, every word in our main string is separated, forming a different string separated by a special character comma. So that's a simple example of a join and split. Now, other few important methods are like rjust, ljust, and center. So these are methods which are used to justify the text. Rjust indicates that it is right justified. Ljust mentions indicates that it is the left justified, right? And center denotes that it is left. It is center justified, right? So if you have make use of text, if you would have edited text into a simple word file, you must have seen somewhere you have used right justification, somewhere left justification, somewhere in the middle. Uh, when we define a title to a page, we usually prefer it to a center. When we give subtitle, we usually prefer to do the left justification, and so on. Right. So these are just a few examples of how can we make use of these methods. So as you can see, there are so many different methods which allows us to do a lot of different things, right? So R just will just simply right justify the whole string. So string actually starts from here, but since it is right justify, it shifts the complete text to the right. Right. You can also define the you can say the measurement of how much uh, you want to right justify or left justify a particular text, right? The value for that. So as you can see here, I've just given the value as 10. So it will just right justify our main text hello with the 10 spaces, right? And similarly, the more the value you give, the more right justification or left justification in the text happens, right? And similarly, you can see here the left justification. There are a few more examples wherein we can see that the right justification followed by second parameter which is used to indicate which all places we have right justified, right? So that special character is made use of here instead of simple blank or a space, right? And here we have a center justified, which will in fact just put that text into a center of the whole main string, right? Now, there is few more important methods which are used to remove the white spaces, right? Removing the white spaces with the methods called strip, R strip, L strip. R strip is again right strip, L strip is left strip. So let's have an understanding of this with recent example. Let's say we have a string called spam, which is a string which has both left justification and right justification spaces, right? And the text is actually in between, right? So we have some additional spaces here in the beginning and additional spaces here at the end. But I want to strip, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just make use of a simple strip statement in order to strip the unnecessary spaces or special characters here, and thereby getting only the text, right? Whereas if you make use of L strip, it will only strip the left hand side of the main string, and exactly opposite to it, if you make use of right strip, it will only strip the right part of the main string, right? So that's how a simple strip, right? L strip and also a R strip would operate. Now, like we had an example of my name is Simon with ABC as special characters there. We do have another example here, which is spam is equal to, let's say, spam bacon spam eggs spam spam, and I want to strip our mainstream wherever we have A M P and capital S. So as you can see here, let's say this A M uh, AMPS. So AMPS. We don't have uh, AMPS, right? So we don't have here AMPS, and we are trying to strip it here. Let me show you that AMPS. We don't have AMPS into the string. Can anybody spot it here into our main string? Let me highlight it. Yeah. Yeah, anybody? Let's anybody in the chat box? Fine. Okay, I think we are short of time, so let's find it here only. Okay. So another method, important method is copying and pasting the string with the Piperclip module. So Piperclip is actually the Python per clip module, which is used to clip, or in fact it behaves as a clipboard. So whatever you copy, it will be stored in that particular clipboard on temporary basis, and then you can print it wherever you want or paste it wherever you want. Right. So let's have a simple example of it. Let's say I have made use of Piperclip module. So as it's a module, I have to import that module first, import Piperclip, and then followed by the method that I want to make use of in the Piperclip. So Piperclip has two modules, two methods, copy and paste functions. So in order to make use of these functions, I have to first call the module followed by dot and the name of the method, that is copy hello world. So what it'll do is it will just copy this text hello world and store it temporarily in the clipboard, right, in its internal computer's clipboard. And then whenever you make use of paste function, it will paste it from that computer's clipboard, right? So whatever has been stored temporarily in that clipboard, it will be pasted. So this is a simple example where you can store a temporary data. Let's say if you want to temporarily copy something and do some edit and later paste it. So there, this clipboard, internal computer's clipboard, will come handy. But if you have to make use of this, you have to import the module called Piperclip, right? Which gives you the functionality of copy and paste while doing the Python code. So these were a few examples, and in the next sessions, we shall conclude here now. And in the next session, we'll have understanding of whatever methods that we have learned by taking an example, right? So anybody having any doubt in today's class, what we discussed before concluding the lecture, and those who have put it in the chat box, you will be marked present. Not to worry. Okay, so please, whatever we discuss here, make a note of these, prepare a note, and as I said, that could be your second assignment. So just be uh, consistent enough to complete your daily work on your daily basis. And so we shall meet in the next class. You can leave the meeting. Thank you.